Oh, hello, and welcome back to episode 2 of O Radio. It's been a minute that we had some technical difficulties, so we must apologize for that. But we are back.
We're back. I'll get bumpers.
Ooh, it's exciting times. So, firstly, I guess, it's been a couple weeks, maybe a couple months along the low key, but we'll skip past that.
Lockdown चलता था.
What was it? The 5-day circuit breaker, I think it was. Cigar. But anyways, so how's everyone been? Aman, how you been, mate? How have you been?
Top of the world, man.
Top of the world. What about you? Bossy साहब, कितना चल रहा काम?
ठीक-ठाक चली ਜਾਂਦਾ ਭਰਾ
ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ? Anything interesting happen?
नहीं बाबे दी मेहर सब सही चली ਜਾਂਦਾ
सब सही चलदा. What about you, Karna? I heard my guys released a song.
Yeah, man, just recently, I think.
Recently, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, man, exciting.
First release, pretty exciting.
Exciting. We'll definitely get into that later. Just before that, just letting you guys know, this episode is going to be a bit different. We're going to do a little bit of a deep dive on one of our own, DJ Karan. We're going to ask about his journey, his early life, the wonderful world of DJing, and the very recent transition to the music production side of things. And so pretty much, what first got you into music? Back in India, what was your first interaction with music?
The early interaction, from what I remember, was I think Jazzy B,
okay.
and Bali Jagpal, all the UK music scene. So, yeah.
Nag.
Nag was pretty big, but I think I was quite a bit into the UK.
Okay, yeah.
Punjabi stuff.
At what age?
Really young, man. My dad used to listen to Nusrat and all the real shit like Nusrat and Ataullah Khan. So we didn't like it initially because it was annoying when we were young.
Yeah,
as you could guess. But I think we just instilled like a good sense of music in you when you're forced to listen to good stuff.
Yeah, I think you can
at young
appreciate
age.
quality.
Yeah.
Like, Nusrat was Nusrat, yeah, you can't replace that.
I think you just appreciate that type of music with age. Just when you get a real understanding of it.
I think that really is, like, the quality stuff is really
you really got to understand it.
It isn't a quiet taste though.
No.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. I know a lot of people that don't.
Yeah, you got to acquire, I think.
Yeah.
Because we were forced to listen to it. So we did, acquire it at a very young age. Nusrat, Reshma, Ataullah Khan, all the Pakistani Punjabi singers. And then, anyway, so we started listening to Jazzy B, Bali Sagu, Stereo Nation,
B21.
Yeah, all that.
So you had a lot of Western influence.
Yeah, I guess so. And I think it was. They were the only big tracks back in the day in India as well, growing up. The other singer was Manmohan Waris, I think. He was also Canadian. Yeah, he was pretty big at one stage. Manmohan Waris, yeah.
Still is.
मेरे ब्याह पे आया सी.
Yeah, in India he was pretty big at one stage.
Yeah. No, like every time they even come here, it's always a pretty big turnout.
Yeah.
When they do that, what is it? The
Virsa.
The Virsa.
Yeah, I remember going to that back in the day. That shit was hectic, man. Like, that shit was a mess, man.
What do you mean?
Just like fucking in their low kind of way. Because I was like, honestly, I think that was my first Punjabi concert. It was when they did Versa here. Like, when was that? The first time they feel like they did
I
it.
remember that, bro.
Bro, it was huge.
That was at Moorabbin.
What's that?
Any hundred minutes jitta.
That was at
Moorabbin.
Moorabbin Hall.
In Nani Jail. But I just remember being there. I'm like, oh shit, bro.
Yeah.
I remember I got to meet him backstage with Ventu.
The original VIP pass.
The VIP pass.
Dad didn't know what was going on. Like, going on. Like, oh, okay, so she goes.
Chalo. So I reckon, like, I think it's important that we talk about, like, your upbringing, your You know, like, yes, you're into music now. Yes, you listen to music at a young age. But it wasn't always, this wasn't what you would have grown up thinking, I'm going to become a DJ one day, right?
Never thought about becoming a DJ, but always wanted to do singing and, you know, do something in music, I guess. But obviously it wasn't one of the options to choose a career in India, I guess. That's not very normal. It wasn't very normal back in the day.
So tell us about, like, with your upbringing, yes, your dad made you listen to Kavallinga and whatnot, right? How many members of your family, I mean, we don't need to get into names or too much detail or anything like that, but, you know, like, give us a bit of a background, where you grew up, you know, the way you have grown up. Like, obviously you ended up in Australia somehow as well.
Yeah.
You know, so give us a bit of background to that. I'm sure people would love to hear.
So I grew up in Jalandhar, schooling and everything done in Jalandhar, basically. And and then Khalsa College, a couple of years, and then I think straight after I landed up in Australia.
What age?
I think when I came here I was 18.
Yeah, still a baby.
Yeah.
So coming to Australia, like what prompted that for you? When you're in India, you're just, you know, you're 18, or at that point I'm sure you made the decision earlier. So like, what prompted that decision? Like, why did you decide to come to Australia?
I don't think I decided to come to Australia. It was just I just wanted to go out, like bar, you know.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't anything specific about Australia. So growing up, you know, when you listen to all this UK stuff, the music, I was very, very influenced by that. And I used to watch all the shows on EDC Punjabi and stuff, you know, and I really admired it for some reason. And I always wanted to do something, you know, similar to whoever I was listening to. So I wanted to go to England or Canada. Mostly, I think England. Everybody wanted to go to England, in Punjab, just a thing.
So you got to come to Australia. IELTS nahi hai?
Yeah, initially I think I was planning to go to Canada because one of my friends went to Canada.
Oh, Canada.
And I was quite certain to go to Canada because obviously I didn't know anyone in Australia. And Canada, I knew heaps of people, and one of my classmates went to Canada and his whole family was there. So, and then one of my mates, he was going to Canada with me, and then he said, "Now you should go to Australia." I'm like, okay, we should go to Australia.
Very quick.
Right? Because I wanted someone to go with me because, you know, I was obviously by myself.
So I'm assuming the objective wasn't to go to a specific country. The objective was just to get out of the country.
Just go bar.
Which is fair enough. Look, I think, like, so how many years has it been now?
Well, since I'm here.
Since you've been here?
16.
16 years. There's a big difference between an 18-year-old coming from India or Punjab 16 years ago and to the ones that are coming in today.
Oh, heaps. Because I think now there's social media, and then there's a lot of awareness, I reckon, in people. Back in the day, I don't think it was that much, you know. Like, inna pata nahi siga lokan, you know, what to expect and this and that. So now there's a lot of, and especially in Australia, I think a lot of people have come in the last 10-15 years.
Yeah.
So a lot of people know someone who's, you know, in Melbourne or Sydney. But when I came here, I think I hardly knew anyone who was in Melbourne.
So the reason I asked, right, is there's a difference between, and that difference there is, I recall, because we used to have a lot of visitors at my house, right? Jeravi, like, my pen is near Jadiara, it's called Karna, right?
Yeah.
Whoever was here from anywhere in Doaba, koi rishtedari nikal jandi sigi, and they would be spending a month, 2 months at my house, right?
Yeah.
So, here.
Okay.
So what used to happen was, oh, Fulani da Mundaya, right? And because Dad is well known as well to some extent, right? A few people know who my dad is. And they would say, to, you know, call people and say, Restedari kadke is like, Sada munda, look after him. And it was a very common thing. It didn't just happen with my family, it happened with every other family that was pretty much here. I'm sure.
Yeah, basically,
Right? Yeah, so
everyone.
So we had this culture, and then I reckon with that influx that came through, where there was a lot of people coming through.
Yeah. Keep talking in the mic. Thank you.
Okay. So when a lot of people came through, sorry man, what are you laughing?
Just,
हो जाता है यार
I can hear the difference.
But it's one of those things where with that influx, I think we lost a bit of our community at the same time as well, because like speaking from personal experience, I know my parents used to go out of their way to kind of help people all the time, and then up until about when you got here, it was okay, but then after that, it changed. I don't know what it is exactly, but it changed. But anyway,
I think what it is, honestly, is back in those days, people were coming, and and because there were so few of them, they would assimilate into the culture that we have, right? Into our Punjabi culture, into the Punjabi Australian culture. Whereas now, because so many of them are coming, they created their own culture. You know, they haven't had time to adjust to how we live here or how Punjabis traditionally lived in Australia. They're just creating their own way. They're writing their own path of like Punjabi.
I'm not saying there's a right or wrong.
Oh no,
way,
it's just like
right?
the different view
It's
of culture.
just-
You know, like us, right? We have a very different way of moving around Melbourne. Just the things we do, compared to people that are coming from India or Punjab now, and the way they move here and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
look, when we came, it was a whole of, it's a different story, man. You're coming as a teenager and it's a complete cultural shock.
Yeah, not
first
knowing
thing,
what
and
to expect, and
you don't know, you're just landing. When I knew, I didn't even know who was gonna come and pick me up. So, it was that uncertainty, like you don't know anything. It's like, but I need.
And this is the reason I was asking that, and I made that correlation as well, because I think you guys probably started that trend at your generation, your age.
Yeah.
And what you find is that not only did you guys come here and support yourselves, right? I think majority, 99.99% of the guys from the time you were here, I think have been very successful at whatever they choose to do as well. And I think that's where the entrepreneurship kind of started in our community as well. So you guys brought with you this whole new mentality that our parents hadn't come here with. Like our parents pretty much came here, "Itte aao, kaam karo, niyaaniyan nu set up kariye," whatever. And all of a sudden now, we've got young guys coming through. One, they're all living in groups, and then on top of that, did you live with multiple guys as well? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So, one, you save money. Two, you have to pay these fees for university because.
Yeah,
what I hear is you came here to do cookery, right?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Yeah. So you've come here to do cookery, and that's obviously not cheap. Especially, doesn't matter what kind of family background you have back in Punjab. Most guys support themselves when they get here, and then in supporting yourself.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
It's a difficult process.
It's very difficult, but this is why, now that you're here, Karan, right? You landed in Australia. You didn't know who was going to come pick you up. What happened? Yes, you came here. You did your cookery course. So tell us a bit about that. Tell us about how then you ended up in, getting into DJing and whatnot. And how long after did you get into DJing as well? What brought that about?
Yeah, so when you first land here, right? There's I think you have aims in stages, right? You have different aims in stages. So your first aim is to find first aim is to find accommodation, right? So that's the first aim. And I think the main thing is after accommodation is the job. So that's it. I think that's one of the main aim when you land here.
Short-term goals.
Job. Yeah, you need a job.
Yeah.
Because you only bring limited amount of money with you, right? And then as soon as you come here, you're gonna pay rent, you're gonna buy your groceries and pay fees. So I think everybody who come here initially just wants a job. That's it. And I was lucky to I think find a job initially, like within a month of when I was here.
What'd you do? What was your first job?
So I did a few different jobs. So I was doing car wash initially. I did work at a call center, and then I started working in a restaurant because you have to work in a restaurant to do that PR stuff.
Yeah. The work experience.
Yeah. So your ultimate goal when you come here is to get the PR, right? So that's why you're here, just to get it. You know, that's your ultimate goal.
Really?
Huh? It is.
So was it really after
the ultimate goal is to get PR? That's it. When you land here, you like PR.
100%, 100%. Of course.
Judge land on the PR.
Of course.
No. This is all the students talk about.
Everyone, man. Talk.
Yeah.
You know, when we're here, this is all we used to talk about.
Because PR is stability. PR
it's
is
like your
certainty, security.
passport to Australia, right?
Like
if you don't get PR,
it's a new life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing you can stay here. You know, if you don't have PR, genuinely, then you have to go back.
Yeah.
Right.
So you've come into Australia. You've done your study. You've done your work experience in that field. How did you get into music? How did you start? Where did it all start with in terms of DJing?
So yeah, when I came here, I got the job and stuff. So, and then I think the first couple of years I was just blank, like you don't know what's happening with you, right? You're totally blank. You're not thinking about anything at all, man. So the first I think year and a half was totally like I don't know what happened. You just forget who you are. You know, you're just working. So I was working car wash in the morning. I was doing dishwashing in the evening, all day working. You know, and then but eventually became a chef, which was
Jesus, man. He tells you up and get out of and this guy's already up to his second job by the time we wake up.
Man.
Yeah, and I'm talking about like the first couple of months after coming here.
Yeah.
It was quite challenging.
Can I butt in for a sec? I wanted to know this, right? Did you know how to cook back in India as well?
No, of course not.
Alright. So fair as it is.
That's a real shock.
Fed up with this thing.
But chef
No one knows.
No.
Look, I think if you compare yourself with someone living in India, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, it's a very laid back life, and
But-
everything's done for you.
Okay.
No, we're spoiled.
If you go to India or a different part where you don't know anyone, you'll be the same.
Yeah,
Or if you
true,
go to Canada
true.
or England, if you don't know anyone there,
yeah.
you gotta learn how to cook, clean, do your own stuff, of course. So
I thought you were going to say do your own shit.
yeah, I mean, you
That's how I
gotta
figured
learn
it
how to do your own shit. Yeah, I mean shit in the broader terms.
General shit.
Everything.
Generally, man.
Pick up your shit, clothes and everything. So it's good. It was definitely a good experience, man. Yeah.
Is that something you'd instill in your kids as well? Like, are you going to be, mate, $20 leke aaya? See, I remember those stories. You know,
I don't think it will happen because I think it's mostly the circumstances which will, make you do stuff.
100%.
If you don't have that kind of circumstances, I don't think.
Yeah, because you can't really teach it, can you? You can't teach it. You have to live it, experience it.
It's just
Yeah.
that's right.
Spot on.
Sparta.
Alright, so you did your cookery, you got your PR based on cookery as well?
Yeah. So we were I think the lucky lots. So we got our PR pretty quickly, like within a couple of months.
Jesus.
Hoi, so
Fast, bro.
No, I got good bands in IELTS and stuff because I think my schooling back is really good.
अंग्रेजी तेरी ठीक है just for reference.
So the school we went to was like pretty English oriented, right? So our language skills was pretty good as compared to other kids. So I didn't have any trouble giving IELTS and stuff. So we got the PR pretty quick, and the rules were pretty eased back then.
Oh, they were pretty relaxed.
ਇਹਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨੇ rule change ਕੀਤੇ.
No, he's पढ़े लिखा बंदा.
Low key, it probably was like that generation where they just like came in, bang, bang.
And that's the thing. So so that was our main goal, right? When we came here, so we got the PR, and that's it. All of a sudden, we got nothing. Like Oniki,
Yeah, like what's next?
What's next? And then obviously your next goal is to get citizenship and all this stuff, but that's not as
Important, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you'll get it.
It's like in America, green card, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just thing, like it's just a goal, but it's not that important as PR. So,
Yeah.
Eventually
Yeah.
you get it in a couple
That's
of
what
years.
I'm doing.
So either they, after PR, they go back in India, get married. Either they go for a really lengthy holiday, or they
people
pursue their dreams. And so what did you do?
I got a job in a call center. So I quitted my chef job.
Yeah.
I was pretty bored out of that.
Let's be honest, you got your PR.
You got your PR. no,
You didn't need to be a fucking chef anymore. Fucking
I enjoyed doing that because I was pretty good. Like the thing is when
you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I
enjoyed
definitely
cooking.
enjoyed it. Yeah, I
That's what
still
it's
enjoy
all.
cooking now. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed it and I was pretty good. And I was kind of managing the whole kitchen in a way, so I wasn't doing stuff.
So what
at
kind of
the
restaurant
end.
was it?
TJ Fridays in Chapel Street.
Fuck.
Yeah, I was there for 2 years. Yeah.
मैं सोच रहा था तड़के लाऊंगा.
Luckily, I didn't get to work for an Indian restaurant.
Okay.
I do now. So, yeah. Anyway, so what was I saying? So I did work as a chef for 2 years, and I quit it and got a job in a call center, and it was just getting boring like every day, like what the fuck's happening and all this shit, and so deep down inside, so I wanted to do music always.
Yeah.
So, I didn't want to do a job. So Hamesha, I wanted to do music. So, and
But when did you realise that though? Because you said yourself before, right?
Yeah.
Unless I heard incorrectly, but it wasn't something that was on your mind to become a DJ or something.
I think it was the call center that did it for you.
Yeah, I think so.
Sitting there going,
it was
"Fuck
pretty
this."
boring, and the life was like very boring, man. Like, there's nothing happening, and I just go to call center and this fucking shit. Anyway, so I got so bored, I just bought a one-way ticket back to India, and then packed up my stuff, and I went back for 5 months.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's what he did.
Yeah.
He did the long trip.
Long trip.
Yeah, I was so bored. I was like, I don't want to do this shit. I'd rather just go back to India. So I went back to India for 5 months, and I started learning guitar there. Because I liked singing always.
Yeah.
So I picked up the guitar, started singing a bit, learning guitar, and then just passing more so I came back after 5 months.
कितने मकाए पैसे?
Oh, in India you spend very quickly, man.
Yeah.
Chandigarh गए आज की.
Nah, but you're showing off as well. You're young. You're
Totally.
You're showing off.
Yeah.
Gucci gachi.
I think more on daru, man. Yeah, every night.
It's about the same now, isn't it?
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
In India, there's nothing to do. Every evening, anyone you met, like, "Kithe bana," that's it.
Yeah.
So,
And of course, it's always your show.
not really. My friends are all well off, so I don't have to always.
He's done a friend चाहिए तो उसका.
Yeah. But you spend a lot anyway on other shit. So anyway, so I came back, and then I think my mind was more fresh that I don't want to do the call center. I did pick up the job back at the same call center because obviously you have to pay the rent. So I got the job back in the same call center, but my mind was more clear that I want to do something different or whatever, music stuff, but I wasn't sure where to start. So I think that somehow I came across DJing. That it wasn't like
Also, just like by chance, like there wasn't
it wasn't like a dream or like a goal or something. But
Oh, okay.
like kuch ta karna, like let's start with DJing.
Yeah.
So straight off the bat, you just went straight into DJing. Did you
That's what I
learn?
thought.
Did you take classes?
Yeah, so I looked up on the internet, and there was a couple of schools which teach DJing.
Yeah.
So I went to the one on Elizabeth Street and Collins Street. Forgot the name. Anyway, so I went there just to suss out,
What it's all about?
Yeah, and then had no money at all, so I had like $800 left, and they were starting a course like the next day or the same week, and it was $600 to enroll. 3 months course. Yeah. And I think I mentioned before, so that was a very, very important decision I made.
Yeah.
I could have said, like, maybe, chal mud ke dekh lange,
Yeah, get through another month, get through your
Yeah,
groceries,
maybe
rent.
make some,
But you chose your passion.
Yeah.
And I think that was a good decision I made that time. I was like, nah, it's now or never kind of thing. Like, then I paid him $600 and I was left with $200 in my pocket. And I still remember that decision was pretty good.
Worked out
All
well.
the time, yeah.
Yeah.
And then started learning DJing. I didn't learn much at that spot because everything goes over your head.
Yeah.
Like, because unless you know hands-on experience or like I had no equipment.
Okay.
They were teaching you. It's like
So you started from like zero
Started
knowledge.
from the
Yeah,
bottom.
like
started from the
zero.
bottom.
Yeah, real zero.
Yeah.
Had no equipment, nothing. So eventually, but it helped in getting yourself familiarized with the equipment. This is the mixer or turntables and stuff like that. Eventually, bought the equipment from the tax money I got, and then luckily I got sacked. As soon as I finished the DJ course, I got sacked from my job.
Oh, from the call center?
Yeah.
Why?
Why? What happened?
Oh, I was straight back at a customer.
Jaga.
Customer service skills.
That was.
What happened?
That was your full
What happened?
Punjabi.
Nothing, man. There's Telstra. Everyone's fucking complaining.
कुछ नहीं कहने दी लोड़
That's it.
समझ गए ऐसी समझ गए
Telstra.
That's
So
yeah.
everyone there was all complaints, man. So
Yeah.
you lose your shit sometimes.
Oh, it's tough. I'm sure it's not
it's-
easy. Let's just listen to motherfuckers like complain at you about something you can't even really help.
I don't blame them either, but,
Oh, but
it's just
it
they
takes
felt-
it takes a toll, bro.
I've been
Yeah.
one of those motherfuckers before.
Calling, I'm in a pata. Don't worry, bro. We know. I'm sure you're doing more than once. After you got into phone, Karan and nothing.
नहीं
ये भी कोई Telstra उतना हजे भी फोन कमाई लेगा गाना ਕੱਢਣ ਨੂੰ
So this sounds to me like it was meant to be.
I don't know if it's meant to be, but it's like you make most out of
Someone
what
might-
is coming
Someone
in your
might
way.
say,
Yeah.
Kismet.
I don't think there's Christmas or anything. But
नहीं मान ला
it's-
नहीं बस किस्मत ही है ना चल चल
संजोग भी इसी तरह
I think
That's a marriage
it,
thing,
it
isn't it?
definitely worked out.
काम च भी हो
Well,
सकता
it is destiny, like in a way. It's 100% it is if you look back at it.
Yeah.
You got sacked at the right point of time, and I spent a lot of time just learning what DJing is then, and in those few months. And I got the job back in Telstra again. And I
Wait a
got
minute.
sacked again.
So they unfired you.
No, I had a different Telstra. That was,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So you got sacked.
I
then you got
sacked from
rehired by the
Telstra,
same company.
Rehired, I don't know
उधर
how.
इंटरनेट नहीं सीगा
Oh, they couldn't do
एक दूसरे ना जाओ
They shouldn't have hired me, but I don't know how they hired me, right? And I probably should ball like what
My name's not Karan
It's Karen it's Punjabi Karen
No, they give you a number always. They give you like a D number when you work for Telstra,
Okay.
Yeah.
and I think somehow because the first time I was working with Telstra wasn't directly through Telstra.
Oh, you're like contracted.
It was a contractor, so
okay.
I think I got a new D number later on, and but
पता नहीं लग गया
I don't know, pata nahi lagya, and I'm like, kyun chhadya? I'm like,
Yeah,
okay. I had to go to India, and I couldn't get my leave approved and all that shit.
Yeah.
Finally got it, and then worked for 3-4 months, and then I got sacked again.
What? Same reason.
मैंने फेंक गुस्सा हो गया
Man, you don't know how shit is a call center job.
कितना है हमारे यहाँ काम
कितना है तू?
Yeah.
when
Like straight out of after high
fuck you
school.
man. We're talking about Karen anyway don't worry about it
पुच्छे तो मैं दस
उतना ही मत दिल रखन नू
चल ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਸੁਣ
Yeah. Like they behave, they want to behave you like a robot, man. Like you can't take.
You can't show any emotion.
They have like very strict KPIs. So there's a 30 seconds gap in between one call.
That's fine.
So
वाह
that's it. Like
सारा
30
पेशाब करना
seconds.
औखा
Yeah, you have to like. It is like that, man. Like shit. Like they count every second. They count every second.
So I think there was an element of passion and also I'm not doing call center job again. I'm going to pursue DJing.
I mean, that was firing it up.
Yeah.
100%. I'm like, nah, this is everything is shit.
Yeah.
And But inside, I always had that thing. And then I bought my equipment, so now I was like a bit more, I was practicing when I was at home, watching some tutorials on YouTube, and I already know a lot about the Punjabi music, so because I grew up listening to Punjabi music, so I knew what tracks were good, so I started making my own playlists kind of thing. So and I think one day one of my friend called me up that I think it was his niece's birthday. If you want to DJ, and I said yes.
Okay. And that was your first.
That was your first gig?
That was my first gig, and I didn't have speaker. I didn't have speakers, nothing. Laptop and a mixer. Went to the restaurant. I think hooked up with their speakers, and I DJ'd my first gig, and everybody danced. I don't know what was happening. It's like you're playing Ghani. Obviously, people will dance, but I don't know what was doing. So, but people were requesting a lot of songs. I think it was Miss Puja. So when I came here, I think I missed that part. So Miss Puja wasn't popular when I came here, and then I think in that 3-4 years she got like really popular.
Yeah, no, she was at a point where she
was releasing everywhere.
Just on a side note, when my dad went to India in one of those years, came back with 10 CDs of Miss Puja, and he doesn't listen to music at all. Tells you something.
That was the time, I think.
Yeah,
she was literally in every song.
She was actually just releasing duets with every guy, bro. Just get up here.
It was like Patrol 1 and then Patrol 2 months later. Jada ho gaya.
Anyway, so people were requesting a lot of songs. So I picked up, a lot of songs from there, and then started curating my all the playlists. This is how it should be done. So, and I think from that gig I had another call, which actually was the first paid gig. So one of the guests who attended the same event, they were like DJ Karna, and then and they asked me how much are you gonna charge. I'm like, I don't know, like 300. He goes, okay, that's fine. Ended up doing their gig, and I think I made $500 in that first gig, and I think
nice back in those days as well. We're not talking about now. $500 is nothing.
Oh, no, $500 for like
it was a decent amount. I mean, as I said, but I wasn't really. I wasn't happy with the money. I was like really happy that I got paid doing
something you liked doing.
Something I was wanted to do. Yeah. That was the main essence of that. $500 was.
By the end of the night, you must have been like, shit, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you could actually make money doing this stuff.
Ooh.
And
that's very rare.
All right, here's the thing, right? At Telstra, you were getting paid how much per week?
And that Dax got
Telstra, I think it was like probably around $1,500 a fortnight.
$1,500 a fortnight. He's made in, and that would have been
one night,
full 10 days of working. 2 days off, or was that 7 days a week?
So 10 days.
Okay, 10 days in one night. He's made 1/3 of that already. You need 3 gigs.
Facts.
Something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Right. Makes sense.
math to pata lagda munda account. breakdown
करनी पैंदी दिरे
तेरी भी
calculator भी नहीं पढ़ते.
Okay.
I think going back, I wasn't, as I said, I wasn't looking into the money part of it, like the numbers, but it was more like, you could make money doing this stuff. That was a good motivation, I guess, to get into DJing, and I had a chance to work with Dr. Zeus back, I think, then.
Oh shit!
Yeah, but I wasn't like. So I started playing with Urja as well. So I forgot to mention.
Urja nights.
Yeah, Urja night. Yeah.
I used to go to those.
That was the first. That was my first exposure into the clubs.
Wait, can I ask what was Urja nights?
It was an Indian night.
Indian night.
Like
it was big back in the day.
Okay. मेरे ज़माने च, right? Back in my days, like we used to have Indian nights were a big thing, right? Just like you get sea games, dinner dances here. Like back in those days, there were a lot. They used to go off. Same as with the Indian nights as well. Look, they were sausage fests, but like Oh,
It wasn't.
it was, bro. Every time I win, anyway.
No, not the one I'm talking about.
DJ Karan doesn't perform at those.
I would agree. It was a lot of night were sausage fest. Even now, they're mostly like sausage fest.
Oh, yeah.
But the one that he's mentioning, they were the exception.
I think he was bringing
The more
good crowd.
professional.
It was it was
Well
like-
organised.
He was bringing good crowd.
He was.
Ashish, yeah.
Ashish used to bring in the good crowds, right? Like, anyway, you probably don't know who he is, but yeah, because assim today, but those guys used to actually have a whole different vibe. So it was Anyway, they were really good back in those days.
Okay. So that was your like first club gig.
Yeah. So Dr. Zeus was also one of those artists. Had a big influence. I loved all his songs and albums, whatever he released.
But how did that come about? Like, how'd you get into?
So I was messaging random people on Orkut. Orkut.
Yeah.
That I'm a DJ, and if you can, I can come along with you and just suss out what's happening. And
So is this other DJs in Melbourne?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had no connection, or I don't know anyone at all who was a DJ in Melbourne. So anyway, I was making random calls to people.
Call center वालियाँ आता नहीं क्या तेरी?
I was inbound.
Actually, no. This time he was the.
I was inbound. This is outbound.
कितना था
on
phone
sales and marketing jag, yeah.
So I was like very desperate to get into it, and I was like just finding random DJs and just spamming them. Just, I'm a DJ, and this. Most people like fine. Fuck off.
So you didn't get any support.
No, not really, but one guy, his name is DJ Sandy. So he was working with Urja. So I called him up, and he was like, like we always need DJs, and you can come along. And so, and then I started going with him when he was doing the set at like 12. He was doing the main set, which is like midnight. So I used to go there at 10, 11, just hang, just stand
Start
and
things
see.
off.
Yeah, just see what people are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
None
I
of
was
it
very
you got
keen in learning what's happening, So I started going with him, and then initially, so he gave me a chance to play with them, the Urja guy. So I was doing 9 o'clock start, when there was no one in the club, just to do the 1 hour set from 9 to 10, when there was nobody in the set.
Don't the doors open at 10?
No, back in those days,
Yeah.
they actually used to do them earlier because people used to come in and just sit there and drink as well.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
For clubs, it's beneficial. The longer you stay, the more you drink, the more you spend, the more money. That's where the money is. It's not from door entry.
Yeah, they don't. The sound was set it up anyway, so they don't care. But there was no one there until
Okay.
10:30. So I was just, mixing songs and just getting that feel to play. And that was the first time I got not to play with Dr. Zeus, but I was there at the same night. I was doing the 9 to 10 setting. He was playing there, so I got to be on the stage. And that was very exciting.
That's
I was
huge.
very happy.
That's huge.
Yeah, I was very happy. I'm like,
Especially to be like your first.
That dude, man, when he came out, he fucking smashed it.
and he was fucking big, man.
Yeah.
Was massive around that time.
That album of his was a killer.
He was still doing the Kangna, he was still, the Kangna was still famous when he came in.
I still listen.
Kangana's still famous. If we really think about it, bro.
That
I mean,
bass
Like
in that
Kangana
song,
still
bro.
hits like a wedding now. Halabi Gana Chalta.
That's I think I'm talking about 2009,
Yeah.
and he was pretty famous, Dr. Zeus. And it was a packed night, man, like probably 1,000 people there, 1,500.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was up on the stage with him. That was pretty exciting.
Got to see what he was doing?
Yeah, I got to see what he was doing, and I thought it was pretty easy. At that time, like, like, I mean, because I was practicing a bit, and I don't know how to mix, but I was getting that. I don't know, that thing. This is what they're doing. It wasn't that hard, like, like.
You got a pretty
what I
good
thought,
idea.
Yeah.
idea
I had
of
an
how
idea.
it's done.
I could see through what he was doing. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
So it instilled
I could do it.
confidence.
I thought like I could do it, And so and I was trying to mix like he was doing. And it's called cut mixing. So I think in the next few gigs I was doing cut mixing, just trying what he was doing. Yeah.
Okay, so that was when was this? When was this original?
2009.
2009, yeah. And then I think I got to work at a restaurant, Cafe Saffron. You probably knows. Everyone knows in Melbourne.
Yeah.
I did one.
Another doorknob.
One of the DJs sent me there for a gig.
Yeah.
And I did a 1 hour gig there, and that went pretty well. And then the owner, which is Negi Uncle, obviously. So I was trying to, give him my contact number.
Uncle. Uncle.
I'm like, here's my number if you need me.
Yeah.
And one of my friends was DJing there, and I think that was one of the first kind of restaurants which was doing,
They're doing a lot of
events.
They were doing shitloads of events.
First-
That was like the main place to go.
Out of a fucking warehouse of all things as well.
Yeah,
Dude, entrepreneurship, I told you.
yeah, it was a good thing he started, yeah. And one of the guys who was DJing, they had to go back to India, and he was a friend of mine. So for some reason, he went back to India, and then they called me up to do the DJing there, and which was definitely the foot in the door.
Yeah.
So that was the starting point. I think.
For
Apart from
regular gigs.
everything else, that spot. Was,
So you became known. Were you known as DJ Karan at that time, or how did that come about?
I mean, not really, but I was like mostly their DJ.
So what were you called back then? What would
I was
they just
DJ
call you
Karan,
Karan?
but I wasn't branding myself.
Okay.
It was,
I was just a
DJ
DJ.
Karan.
I was just a DJ.
He knows what I'm talking about.
So I was just a DJ, right? So they had the setup done. And
Yeah.
I used to take my laptop and just do whatever gigs they had, and we were doing like 5-6 gigs a week.
Doorknob, told you.
It was busy, man. Like they were doing heaps
Bro,
of events.
Saffron went off.
It went off really good.
And you became the
real.
regular DJ.
Yeah, so I was their DJ. So I was there for 3 years. So from 2009 to I think 12, and then someone told me to start. You should start branding yourself. And then that's when I started branding. Made the logo and the website and stuff. And then I met Kamal, Bollywood mandap guy.
We've got to get into his history one day as well. It's no, seriously, dude, that guy deserves respect. Like,
Massive.
I remember, I've known him for a long time. He's best mates with him, but I've known him for a long time, and I know where he started and where he is now. He's again entrepreneurial mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him, and then obviously he was already in the wedding scene. I wasn't doing any weddings back at that time, so I was mostly playing for that restaurant, and he was, I think, doing the weddings for a while. He started in 2007 or 8.
Hot Chili Media.
So he was doing big weddings, and so he already knew the market, and so he saw me DJing, and he saw something different, right? He's like, oh, he knows what he's doing, like Kudiya Nachariya, he's playing that kind of songs, and then he saw that, he knows what he's doing, kind of.
Yeah.
So I think we became friends, and then I think there was a wedding I did, which he was doing the photography, and then he asked me how much did he charge for this wedding, and I think I charged probably $750 or something for added the speakers and everything, and he was laughing at me.
Why are you laughing?
Why was he
Because he
laughing?
laughed at him.
Why was he laughing at you?
Why was he laughing at you?
Because he was undervaluing himself.
Yeah, I didn't know if people could charge that much for DJing.
Oh, okay.
I think that's how you realise there's a market. There's an upscale market. For,
Yeah, but it's not just for everyone as well. Like there's a lot of shit kickers out there as well. Yeah.
yeah.
And you wouldn't pay them the
But
price.
I guess that's where you kind of realise what you set yourself apart from the other DJs.
So that time it opened a new kind of a window for me, meeting up with Kamal. So I have to mention his name because otherwise I was just doing that.
So he's a huge
regular
influence
shit.
in your journey.
100%. So and then I think at that time he bought the warehouse. He started this Bollywood mandap thing, and then he helped me buying all the equipment and stuff as well. Like he had a van, so we bought a couple of trusses. I think Sweet Mix was doing pretty big back then.
Yeah, Sweet Mix
Yeah.
back in the day were
They were
the
huge.
main DJs.
Yeah, they were huge.
Yeah, they were massive.
Hajinota.
Yeah.
And
And then he told me how much did they normally they charge for weddings and stuff. And I'm like,
Crazy. Yeah.
I can't call it
how do you
but
do that?
Crazy
Like,
premium.
I'm like, how do you charge that much? Like, the maximum I had charged was like 800 or something, like 700, 800 for it. And obviously it was, they know what they were doing, and the equipment and stuff they were doing was.
Just out of curiosity, what is it now? You don't have to tell us exactly, but
What do you want to know then? What is it now?
No. Because I'm talking about back then, right? So what was it back then when like when your eyes opened, you were charging 800. But there's a reason I'm asking. तेनू पता मैं हमेशा वजह लिए पूछ रहा हूँ ना कुछ. So what was it back then? Like how far off were you from them?
Like how much was?
Oh, from them I was. I think music wise I wasn't.
Not music wise.
I'm just saying, music wise,
cost-wise.
I was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was pretty confident of what I was doing, right? Set wise, I was like really shit. Like, I only had like a couple of speakers and a few lighting and stuff.
Yeah, because
the way I look at it is they presented very, very professional.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like they all came with like that, like the jacket, the t-shirt, the polos and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Not just that,
No,
bro.
but that
what
adds to it, bro.
what they brought to the fucking
yeah, like the fog machines.
you
and
see
stuff
these
like
bloody
that.
speakers, these screens in the back. Like, look, no doubt they were good.
I remember a lot of their work, and they lit up the place.
Yeah,
That's
they,
it.
they were definitely
People
big.
were on the dance floor. There were more people on the dance floor than there were
Because
at
they were
the
the,
tables.
I think they were the only big professional company who's who had the hold of that the market, the wedding kind of thing. And Ashish was doing pretty good. He was charging fair bit. He was doing all these big scale weddings.
Yeah.
But the problem with him was he was a manager, right? Like he wasn't a DJ. That was his problem. So he used to send out different DJs for different events, which will never work.
Yeah, because
That's why he disappeared.
There's not like
No
promise of
consistency.
quality.
Yeah, it's like Punjabi. I went with him at one Punjabi event, right? And Zora was there, Zora.
Yeah.
So Zora was there singing, right? It was pretty funny. Anyway, it was a total Punjabi event, and I don't know what the fuck he was playing, right? He was playing some other UK Punjabi stuff. It was a Desi event, and people were like swearing at him, like, "Man, chup, telu kya?" And I was standing, no shit, man. Like I was standing right next to him, and I was supposed to play some Punjabi tracks, but my thing couldn't hook up with his system, so he ended up playing the whole night. I was like, this is the worst fucking gig of my life. And but that was his drawback, because he didn't know what, he wasn't a DJ, but he used to pick up the events like Punjabi or whatever.
He went in there with the mentality, CD launi hai, ek
He was
band
like
karna,
club wale
dooji chala
Punjabi.
deni.
He was like club wale la dange, but club Punjabi music is totally different from.
I think it's the crowd.
Punjabi,
You got to look at the crowd.
You gotta look at the crowd, yeah.
It's summarized well in a couple of TikToks I've seen where they talk about how girls behave in clubs and guys, not just girls, and then how they behave in front of their parents. And then, how nowadays you have the whole, at the end of the party when everyone leaves and is just left with the young crowd, and then it turns into a kind of a club again afterwards as well.
Yeah.
ਹੁੰਦਾ
Honda,
नहीं confirmation भी चाहिए
It would have been funny if you said nahi. ऐसा तो नहीं कभी होया. मैं तो बड़े बढ़िया गाने चाहना. Clean गाने.
Now we do that.
Yeah.
I think I did it in the wedding.
The first time I came across something like that wasn't here. It was actually at a wedding that I attended in Canada.
It's totally different there, isn't it?
Yeah. Far.
You were there recently.
They go off.
Yeah.
They go off there. Like
You went there for
I was
a
there for
wedding
my,
or something.
Yeah, for my cousin's wedding, and the same shit. Like I was like,
he almost died there.
I'm not gonna
remember?
fucking lie, bro. I was shocked, bro. Like at the wedding, right? Cause I'm from here, right? Ette Punjabi gaane chalde, like back then at least, right? Like the weddings I've been to.
How long was that ago?
I only went like 2 years ago. Before that, even then, most Punjabi weddings, you'd come with your parents, you'd kick it, and then you'd leave. Unless it was someone really close, you'd stay for late.
Backward I there.
Then we got there.
Nah,
and then,
he's young as well.
And then we got there, like I
He
got
was
to
there
it.
as well.
I got to it, bro. Punjabi guys are going, I'm like, yeah, this is my vibe, I'm nachda, right? then like all the old people leave my they leave, and like I'm just like my cousins around. I'm like, oh sick, you know, bro, bang straight away, bro. Like
Find me in the club.
DJ Intense was there, right?
Okay.
So Intense started playing, you know, the club songs. I'm like, I don't know how to fucking dance here. like, because in a club the lights are off, yeah, you know what I mean? Lights are dim, so you can, you know, you can kind of vibe it out, bro. And it was like lights are on. I'm like, oh fuck, bro, like.
He was one of them. Oh,
I'm a desi like that, bro. Like, yo, chuck some like Punjabi MC on at least, man. No, bro, these guys hit the whole club scene.
It's a different scene there.
Yeah.
Like you enjoy it though. Don't get me wrong.
It's fucking amazing.
To be honest, I haven't seen anything like that here. And
Well,
have you?
I've seen plenty, man.
Have you?
Yeah.
Punjabi weddings or?
But it's not a long. I don't do it for.
We don't know everyone anymore. We used to.
That's the thing. That's another thing, bro. The thing you gotta think about it. The people we know.
Next generation.
They're already like most of them are already married.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਸਾਲੇ ਉਹ ਬੁੜੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਆ.
Bro, I'm fucking young still, man. ਹਲੇ ਬੱਚਾ.
He's ਅਜੇ ਵਿਆਹ ਕਰਤਾ.
Still a jock, bro. ਮੈਂ 25 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਮੈਂ ਹਲੇ.
ਕੋਈ ਨਾ. ਤੂੰ ਜੇ ਤੇਰੀ ਸੋਚ ਪੁਰਾਣੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਤੂੰ ਵੀ ਪੁਰਾਣਾ ਹੀ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ.
Fuck, man. Don't say that. ਮੈਂ progressive ਸੋਚਣ ਵਾਲਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਆ.
All right. Chalo anyway.
But yeah, anyway, so you did those events with the Bollywood Mandap guys. So at what point did you start to think, all right, DJing is not only something I want to do, but it's going to be my only job? Like, when was that decision made?
Yeah, I think as soon as I upgraded my setup.
Yeah.
Which, mind you, what did you just invest in recently?
About 50 grand.
No. No, how much? What?
Oh, what? Oh, sorry.
ਇਹਦਾ ਜਾਣ ਕੇ ਦੱਸ
ਤੂੰ ਕਮਾਰ ਗਿਆ
I invested in an LED wall.
Bro, you've seen these things?
Yeah, I saw it.
I
It looks
fucking saw
really
these.
cool.
Oh, bro, that's a mint. Sorry, ਕੰਧ ਪੂਰੀ TV ਦੀ.
Fucking
Looks
sick,
it's
bro.
very good. It's very good. Yeah, so as soon as I upgraded my setups, you know, like.
Charge ਵੀ.
Now the thing
ਉੱਪਰ
is,
ਚਲ
that people look at you differently.
Yeah, they do.
You know,
100%.
it's all about your presentation, right? In whatever you're doing in your field as well.
Yeah.
You know, how you present yourself is very important. Because I knew my music was pretty, you know, like good.
Go now, get it. Good.
Like,
No, I
from
think
what I've seen,
we
from
all
the other-
agree here.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I've seen other DJs, and I played with KSR, and okay, by that time I'd actually played with a lot of artists and the other DJs like KSR, and he was pretty impressed. He was like, I was DJing on my laptop. He was like, how are you mixing it? And so, I mean, I kind of had an idea that my music was okay. So when I upgraded my setups, you know, people look at you differently, and I started getting a different kind of crowd, different kind of events, and I think it kicked off pretty well from then. And then I kept adding stuff to it. So once you know this is how you can make money, right, and more money than what you were doing, and I added screens, and so then my setup was one of the best in very quick time.
I think you do have the best setup now.
Right
yeah,
now,
so
definitely.
Street Mix was doing pretty good setups. So I was looking at other companies in UK, what they were doing. Me and Kamal used to do a lot of research on this is what you should put, you know, lighting types with the moving heads, trusses. And then I think we started putting screens, and no one was doing the screens back then, even Street Mix.
And then there's that flooring as well.
Not really flooring, but it was like this DJ setup we had. I think we started putting screens up back in 2013, and so yeah, I started slowly upgrading my setups, yeah, I think it worked out pretty well.
Is your setup different for every wedding?
Yeah.
It is. It's although to the untrained eye, it would be, you know, just the same shit all the time. But you've obviously got specific.
Yeah,
You have different packages.
Yeah, different packages. Like how many screens you want to put, how many. Normally the sound is.
And I think this is one of those things where Punjabis don't want to, you know, they don't want to spend money on this. This needs to be that wow factor.
The thing is,
Especially
as well,
the newer generations.
I think it's a very, obvious thing because in Punjabi weddings, there's very less formalities, right? The main thing is people just want to come and dance.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Whether
the
as opposed to other weddings, the dance floor is like only an hour and a half, 1 hour to 1 hour and a half. That's it, or 2 hours maximum. Punjabi weddings could be like 4 hours.
That's the main event.
And that's the Punjabi thing, right? They just want to come drink and dance, right? They have very less formalities. There's very few speeches, maybe 5 minutes. That's it. Other people have a lot of other shit, right? Their performances and all the shit. Not a Punjabi weddings.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see that happen a lot more now. Like the couples kind of organise a specific dance nowadays as well. Like that trend started in Canada or USA or whatever, and now it's carried over to here as well. I've seen
there is, but not people don't like that in Punjabi.
Yeah,
like
no one pays attention.
Like what are you gonna watch? They don't like.
I'm not gonna be honest.
They don't like Bollywood dance. Yeah. Punjabi people they don't like Hindi music, right? So they're not gonna watch Bollywood dancers. And obviously left with belly dancers. They don't wanna watch all that belly dancers.
Everyone wants to look, but sang they
It's fucking awkward, bro.
I know, it's not that they want it, it's just awkward.
It's awkward, bro. How am I gonna be sitting next to my fucking mama
like,
and be like, oh fuck, like,
the best way to do it is you just say to your missus, look, I'm gonna look. I don't want to upset. Like.
And don't say anything.
Don't say anything. I went to we had. Just tell you a bit of a funny story. This is a couple of years back, and it was a mate's 21st, and it was at Jimmy's restaurant, Tandoori Flames, and apparently he organises like a dancer thingy every Saturday night or Friday night. What was it? What kind of dance was it? Like the belly dance stuff, right? And out of the blue, everyone's like, they're having their entrees, and she comes out, and everyone's gone awkward as fuck. Everyone, and it just killed the entire
they
vibe.
all eating the shish kebab.
Oh man, and all the oldies got their head down, and it looked like, man, they took me. Cushy wali jagah pe nahi aaye.
Because it's like the same when you're watching a movie or some shit, and like
I know,
the sex scene comes on, and you're just like,
I'm sitting next to like, oh fuck, I can't do it. I'm sitting next to one of my uncles. I don't know name who, but he goes, oh, banta blast now. And I think out of the everyone there, I think there was about 10 heads up. Everyone's head was down, about 10 heads up, and they're like,
the other 510
And
down.
I had my dad on the table, and luckily he went out to do.
I thought you were gonna say luckily he was looking good.
I'm like, join the club. No, but he was out. He was out doing part, and we're like, fucking hell, man. Jimmy the Karna program agli bari.
I've done some high profile weddings, in which they
That
had.
explains why you had him at yours.
He did. He's a professional.
He is.
He's very professional at what he does. Jimmy.
Tandoori Flames guy.
I've done a few Punjabi weddings, typical Punjabi, right, with BB and Babe and everyone's sitting, and then all of a sudden the three belly dancers come up, man, and then they're like, what's going on?
yeah, man.
It's like so inappropriate, right? It's like, don't
It makes it worse when they actually try to grab people to dance.
Yes!
They don't know it.
Well, they grabbed one of the guys, and like, all you can hear is from the next.
And imagine if she grabs you and your missus sitting right next to you, and like, jawangi na jaw.
Aaj kare shattar pakke ne.
It's like awkward, man. Like
So
I
fucking
don't
awkward,
think
bro.
Some people go with it, like, but Punjabi people, I think.
No, it's not
It depends. It really depends what
I
your
don't
audience
think
is.
we are.
Yeah.
I think it is the crowd as well.
100%
it
it's the
depends-
crowd.
Look, it depends on which Punjabi
If
crowd
it was like a 21st and it was just
No.
mates, then it works. But when you've got parents and stuff there,
None of the
God
Punjabi
ni
crowd
banandi.
agrees with it, man.
No matter how good the night was, that will ruin it for them.
It doesn't.
bro.
The food was great, the music was great.
Serious?
Jagah
They'll be like-
padiyah si par. Oh, nachamali kaun aa gayi si. That's next day. That's all.
It's like I remember even they were saying ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਡਾਂਸਰਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਇੰਡੀਆਂ ਵਿਆਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਨੱਚ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਵਾਰੀ
No, the thing is, they have the titties out, man, right? No, obviously, right?
Yeah.
They're not dressed.
Oi, okay, hunde.
No, I mean, obviously, their dress is not.
They're not dressed up for.
They're not dressed up for a wedding. No way.
Poor dancers were like, I don't think I fit in
hokey
here.
there, man. I feel sorry for the dancers, man.
Oh,
Like,
Yeah.
why are people looking like that?
You know Azuba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually started a trend as well with the Gordinga. doing the Punjabi dance and the Hindi dances as well. So, but that was the exact opposite. It actually went off. Like, they're at a lot of events nowadays. I think they're called Jalwa.
Yeah, but right, Punjabi dance is like Bhangra, right? If you see like a Bhangra dance, like, oh, it's Bhangra, bro. Like we all dance Bhangra. Like, let's get hype, right?
But that's what I'm saying. They still... It's just like something different, you know what I mean? They brought a different thing to the table.
Nah,
I'll be honest, you don't need anything up in the
You don't, man. We're too lit on our own, bro.
You don't need nothing.
Bro. We are, bro.
There's always someone that's gonna do something, man.
You just need me, man.
But you need, exactly. You need sick DJ.
DJ Karan, bass
DJ Fook.
That's all you need, bro.
Yeah, you just need a good DJ, man. You don't need nothing, like, especially the performance. Well, you don't need Bhangra performance, especially, because
That's exactly it, man.
you're just gonna
Usually, even when they come out, everyone's like eating. And at a Punjabi wedding, when you're eating, no one looks up.
no one gives
People are like, Carlos
especially, especially when doing speeches, man. People are like,
Fam.
yeah.
no one cares, man. It's
No
not
one,
speech.
nah. No one
Punjabi wedding,
yeah.
no one cares about the speech.
Nah.
Like, not even one person.
Nah. And then you've got those emotional speeches, and they're like, "Bia de rui kade jandi hai."
And that's all the white people stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like, people are listening to, like everyone's listening to, and then they start crying and shit, like, the fuck's going on, you know? And then Punjabi when it's just funny, man.
It is funny. It's a totally different vibe, and the good thing is you see it
I see
day in
everything,
day
man.
out,
Did
and
you
you
say
see
it's
the
a totally different wave?
vibe.
Wave.
I heard a wave.
It's a wave.
ਧਿਆਨ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗਲਤ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਤੇ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਸੁਖਮੀਤ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਐਡਿਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ
I'll chuck it in.
Leave it in there, bro.
ਲੀਵ ਇਟ ਇਨ ਦ ਬਲੂਪਰਸ ਕਿਆ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਮਾਈਂਡ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ
ਕਿਹੜੇ ਬਲੂਪਰ ਆ ਸਾਰੀ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਹੀ ਬਲੂਪਰ ਹੈ
this
A number one hater is part of the fucking show, isn't he?
ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਤੇਰਾ ਮਾਈਕ ਡਿੱਗੀ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਆ
Gonna cut your mic off, bro. Alright, so got it. Saying that, I think we'd get into some like just DJ questions. Now we're on the topic. So, what is some of your favourite venues in Melbourne to DJ at?
Man on High is pretty good.
Man on
Man
Princess?
on High in Epping.
On Epping.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Leonda by the Yara, they're pretty good.
Fantastic.
They're very nice. I just did an event there
I know.
recently, and they're super cool. Look, for us, the good venues when the venue people are really into
Yeah.
us, right? Unlike all the venues in the city, your next question, they're like totally shit. Like Crown,
too restrictive.
Uptight or
yeah, Crown, man. Like, it's a pain. I don't do it any more events in Crown. Like, they have heaps of all this, you know, like you gotta
Insurances
Too many
and
restrictions.
do it's not that you gotta have your tag, the cables tested and tagged, which is just stupid. But they have like a lot of restrictions, man. Like in terms of what you can do. You can't do fireworks. You can't do dry ice. You can't do shit. You can't do anything.
okay.
Like,
makes sense actually
Too much mangiai.
Makes sense.
and they're so expensive.
Why?
I mean, it's
No,
crowds,
that's
bro.
a
It's
minute
fucking, you
that's
look at crowds, it's fucking bougie as fuck, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, headache, each say honi chahiye.
No, you would want everything at a wedding, right? And they don't let people do.
they're
People
very
restrict.
pushy
Because
like
it's
if
just-
you
it's
say
liability,
entrees out
right?
at 7
Huh?
if they say entrees out at 7
Oh,
they're out at 7 even if there's like
No,
10 people
that's a
sitting
lot
there
of venues.
Nah, fuck Crown, bro. Up on Gacy, we had naan on the table, right? We finished it, we're like, oh, can we get some more naan? Like, nah. We only have 10 naan for each table. I'm like, the
That's
fuck
cool.
is that?
That's shit.
At a Punjabi wedding, I'm like, it's naan?
ਚੌਲ ਖਾ ਲੈਂਦਾ
John, we look at you, bro. I was like, John, put up. No, sorry, we portioned it out.
you see Sakmeet just rocking up to an sat shri akal ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਟੇਬਲ ਤੇ ਨਾ
I've done that.
You must be looking around, yeah.
I'm like, naan.
He's just like ਕਰਨ ਤੂੰ ਕਦੋਂ ਖਾਣਾ ਤੂੰ ਵੀ ਖਾਊਂਗਾ ਹੀ
No, then you just look for the table where there's someone supposed to be there, but they're not there. So you just gotta pick it up from their table.
Oh no, you know what you do, right? You look at the table with like sardars and you take their meat.
That's
You take their butter chicken, bro.
ਲੱਗਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਖਾਂਦੇ ਆ
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੀਂਦੇ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ
ਤੁਸੀਂ
ਹੁੰਦੇ
ਖਾਣ
ਬੋਤਲ ਵੀ
ਵਾਲੇ
ਦੇ ਦੋ ਸਾਨੂੰ।
ਨਹੀਂ
Bottle
chicken
with
chocolate there.
ਚੱਕ ਲੈ ਪਤਾ
Yeah, so those are the, I think, yeah, but Man on High, they're pretty good, man. It's
Yeah.
a very nice venue.
They're so chill, yeah.
Yeah, very chill, man. Like, they're very chill.
Yeah.
And we've been doing events there for like 13 years now, so
Oh, wow.
we know all of them. I know all of them. I know most venues, so, but yeah, they're pretty good. Leonda by the Yara is pretty good. What else?
there's not much in the southeast is there
Nah.
Have you done any with that new joint?
Tatio.
what is it called? Alencia, I think.
What is it?
Is it called Alencia?
Yeah.
On Princess?
There's a new place out in the southeast. Karna.
Is it
Karna.
Is it?
ਇਹਦਾ ਰਿਸ਼ਤਾ ਤਾਂ ਭੈਣ ਚੋਦ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ
No, is it the Indian guy who won them?
Nah, bro. That's sore. Like,
No, Indian guy earns John.
No, it's an Afghan guy, I think.
That's the one going towards Phillip Island way, yeah?
No.
On the left hand side. Like it's a great building,
this
kind of go down.
bro, he went from Phillip Island, bro. Phillip Island
Where
came
is it?
builder.
Sorry, मैं क्रैनबर्न
It's on
पहुंचा हल्ले में
Princess
फिलिप आइलैंड में जा
It's
रहे
right
हैं
next to Dandenong.
Amberley.
Alencia,
No,
I think
no,
it's
no.
called.
that's the one I think I'm
That's
thinking
shit.
of.
Alencia.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Shit, मैं कहने लगा that's what I was saying. Is that
It looks it's like a white building.
ਨਾਨੂੰ ਦੇ ਦੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਉੱਥੇ.
I don't need to give it that.
True.
They'll
True.
find me.
ਬਸ ਕਰ ਬੰਦਾ ਅੱਗੇ ਮਸੀਂ ਟੱਕਰਦਾ ਆ ਤੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਕੰਮ ਦੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ
Would like to see him more in the southeast.
100%, bro.
Man, you should come over this side. It's not that far.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that.
It only
far.
took us an hour to get here.
Plus the
Right.
venues are much better.
That's from my work as well.
But
Yeah,
you
there's
can't
heaps
tell
of
us
venues there,
about-
man.
Yeah.
Heaps of venues.
We shit all over them. Southeast yeah.
Yeah, South Indian.
ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਮਹਿੰਗਾ ਏਰੀਆ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਕੋਈ ਰਿਸੈਪਸ਼ਨ
So
ਸੈਂਟਰ
ਕਮੀਤ
ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਾ
ਤੈਨੂੰ
ਸਕਦੇ
ਆਪ ਹੀ ਡੀਜੇ ਬਣਨਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਹੁਣ.
Southeast try ਕਰ
ਸਾਡਾ ਨੋਰਥ ਤੋਂ ਸਾਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਦਾ
There's not many in Southeast.
I mean,
Nah.
fuck, there's
There's Cathy's, Grand
Kathy's. Yo, Cat.
I hate those guys,
I've gone
man.
there so much in my life, bro.
Yeah, but it's not even.
It's run down
The
Yeah,
ground
it's
on
not
Kathy's.
They kind of redone it, but they're so bloody restrictive.
There's one on-
You can't do this, you can't do that, and
there's
had a
one
bit of a
on-
nightmare there.
Princess
redone
Highway.
how though what have they done like I was there maybe
You
2
just-
years ago now
Nah, they haven't done much, man.
Yeah.
Just done the toilets in the front bit. But inside.
The
is
most
like-
important bit.
Yeah, but they haven't done like anything with the.
They changed the roof ceiling. They changed the foyer, the
ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ
entrance.
ਕੂਲਿੰਗ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੱਜ ਨਾਲ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਕਦੀ ਵੀ It's true yeah
Yeah.
yeah see ਪਤਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ
ਚੱਲ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ. But
Yeah. Anyway, back to your question. So,
Yeah, I'll say, what do you reckon has been your most overplayed song at parties? Like, what is the one song that you just fucking either hate playing or you hate when someone comes up to you and it's like, yo, play
Real
that
good,
song.
bro. I reckon.
nah, I don't mind.
I think Real Good is alright there.
I'm sick of that shit.
I don't
man.
find anything wrong with the songs, man.
There's no
It
song?
depends on how people react with the song. And Real Good is definitely good, man. Like, it
I
gets,
think real good is by it's the end of the night.
man, it's like a.
It's my pet hate. I'll just put it out there. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਸਾਡੀ ਕਦੀ ਰੇਲ ਗੱਡੀ 'ਚ ਬਾੜੇ ਹੋ.
Nah, Real Good is lit, bro.
Real Good is lit, man.
You know, the people with like...
It's just an excuse for some dudes to grab some chicks, yeah?
Especially when the.
ਹਰੇਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਗਲਤ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਰੇਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਗਲਤ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ dude no bro I'm at the front of the rail ਗੱਡੀ all the time man
He likes being held.
I like being the caboose.
what about I want to be held bro I've never been held in my
ਚੌਦਾਂ
life.
ਮਿੰਟ
Everyone
ਵਿੱਚ
retired.
ਲੱਕ ਨੂੰ ਹੱਥ ਲਾ ਦੇ.
You gotta be near the caboose end.
the caboose no bro but ਗੱਡੀ ਤੋੜਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ so what are some songs that you wish people would request more than like some songs that people don't request
I don't want people to request.
what are songs that ਗੱਲ ਵੀ ਤਾਂ ਸਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਆ ਵੀ ਕੀ ਸਕਦੇ
I would play the song anyway.
yeah
Yeah.
I reckon your process DJing is you're meeting the couple, you get the vibe what they want, you get a vibe of who's going to be there, what kind of audience is going to be there,
Yeah.
and you plan your night out. If anyone's really coming to you, it's I guess
Here's something I've always wondered. And that is, right, let's just say, because you don't know every single crowd that you're going to be involved in, would you have a situation where, let's just say, you're going to do your test songs, and then depending on which songs get the reaction from the crowd, then you have a list that you're going to play accordingly.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay, well, सब A to Z पता लग
how
गया
many
DJ बन जाना
kind of different themes of do you have set up, like say like a full-on Punjabi Bendu Punjabi style, then you've got a
hip hop Punjabi.
hip hop Punjabi, and then like a Daler Mendi Punjabi.
we can't say that word alright I'm gonna have to edit that we
No,
can't
look,
say that
there's a good Punjabi crowd,
Yeah.
which is you lots, right?
Yeah.
And
word
there's
up man
which
man
like,
मेरे में निग्गा क्या है यार मेरे
thing
ठंड
is,
नहीं लग रही मैं निग्गा यार
there's another crowd which is obviously the phobia stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're the worst.
To deal with.
ये भी कट कर देंगे
It's true.
Why
They're
they're
like
bad,
the
bro?
worst, man.
why
Because they don't give a shit about the DJ, right? Like they don't care who the DJ is. They just want the new Punjabi tracks to be played. But you name gaane lau
I was at a party.
Yeah, do you know
I know exactly what you're saying. I was at a party just last week, and it was in a warehouse, new warehouse, and the sound The sound was through the roof, and everything was echoing, and they just kept playing all this like latest Punjabi music, and it was all about Velapona and Ladaiya and Kachariya, and it was just dudes. There was not
Because on Facebook and Instagram, story बहुत सोहनी बन गई है.
Fuck that shit.
कोई respect नहीं हैगी traditionally.
It's not the tradition.
I wouldn't
man.
say
Like,
that.
Kada limber Hussain.
No, it's again. It comes down to it's a different crowd. Like they've come from a different atmosphere back in Punjab, right? We've grown up differently. They've come from a different way.
Yeah.
It's just, but that's
the
all
same
the music,
thing, like touching
but
on
that's all the
weddings
music.
and-
We appreciate the other shit because we're in Australia. We used to listen to a lot of UK Canadian tracks, right? That's not what they grew up with.
Yeah,
They've now come here and they've grown up with something that they associate with, or don't get me wrong, a lot of the guys have had trouble past in Punjab. A lot of people that are coming here have had trouble past.
and I'm not saying they're wrong.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy
I don't think
playing.
they're wrong.
It's not wrong, but it's
just
that little.
it's what they associate with.
Yeah,
No,
like
no, that's fine. Like I'm saying, that I don't enjoy playing.
ਇਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸੀ
no, because what I was trying to get at is like 9 out of 10 events I've been to in
No,
Punjab.
I'll tell you one thing.
It's that same thing.
Yeah, I'll tell you
Really
one thing.
high volume, no clear music.
Doof.
And when you get back in your car, someone's speaking, you're like, Gosh, kya? Someone say something?
Yeah, the problem with those tracks is like, if you had like 100 people, right?
Yeah.
There's 50 of people, 50 of you guys, right? And then there's 20 of them, or maybe 10.
Yeah.
They want their music to be played. They don't care about the rest 90. Like,
Yeah, true.
Like Paji, hello, hello,
Yeah.
hello.
100%. And we had.
And I'm trying to get everybody on the dance floor, right? Because I'm looking at everyone. I'm not looking at those.
He's
10.
looking at overall picture.
So
I think it's an art. You really need
it's
to.
an art.
Definitely an
It's
art.
an art. It's not just playing
it takes
music
a
and
lot.
playing, hey, these are my top 10. And
But
it's
I
really
also
feeling
think-
the crowd and going, all right, this needs to be the next song. There's not enough ladies on the dance floor. Let's chuck on a song that they'll come onto the floor.
Jago भैया.
Yeah, it's really it does take a lot, man. Like to get the dance floor going.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge job, actually.
It definitely
The-
does. And
it's
the
not an
thing
easy
is,
thing.
No.
It's very easy to say DJ.
man,
but
people
then
are
you-
relying on you, like
You know,
Because you make or break the party, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. If
Yeah.
you're if
It's not the
a
food.
DJ,
It's
make
definitely
no
not the food.
But if
It's
it's-
you,
if-
Karna.
No,
If you're
the
like a
food is
DJ
also the food and the music. They're the two things.
But I would go much rather go to a party with shit food but a good DJ.
Yeah.
100% all
झूठ
fucking
बोल रहा है.
No,
all
that's
the
true.
fucking time,
तू
bro.
झूठ बोल रहा
Because
है.
guess what, bro? I can always get Macca's on the way home. I can't have my own I can't dance in the car, bro. You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
that's the
I'm gonna be like, in the
He's
car.
tried.
no, look. If you have
not
daru, right,
Speed-
and you
Yes.
have some shitty food, right,
Yeah.
you'll still eat it,
Say, of course,
right? All you need is
If you're Dundee, yeah, anything
it's
is good.
dance, man. Like you need daru. That's
Need
it.
a dance, bro.
You
Alright,
definitely
so what's the funniest thing you've seen at an event, like while you were DJing? Like any fights? I'm sure there's been fights.
I'll tell you one funny thing, man. Like back at Saffron, right?
Yeah.
This guy was so drunk, right? End of the night, and he's so drunk. He grabs a glass of whiskey, right? Fills it up with whiskey. He puts a gulab jamun in it. And he puts cake in it, and he just sculpts it down. He sculpts it down.
He wanted a dessert done.
I didn't have to think it twice. Like it was still fresh, and that's back in like 20.
That's fucking
24.
hilarious.
I'm like,
What kind of crowd was that?
I don't know where the fuck are you from, man. Like, what the fuck's going on?
Saffron.
Bro, I've seen some shit at Saffron, man.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen fights at Saffron.
You know,
Yeah.
the
I don't
thing is,
see it
though,
now.
it was a family crowd there, so you used to get a lot of comfortable factor there too.
There's nothing comfortable in this shit, man. Like, daru charas gulab jamun.
मतलब
मिट्टी
ताइयों कर दे comfortable या करके he's
Nah,
comfortable.
I'm pretty
think
sure
must be
Cuz
fucked.
was just fucked. So fucked. He's like,
कम से कम कहूँगा तो सही on the way home. खाता कुछ ये मैं मीठा खा लिया थी.
मिठा से कौड़ा इकट्ठा ही खा लिया.
Maybe he
Like,
thought शराब थोड़ी
And
थोड़ी
he just,
Oh, yeah.
he just sculls it, man. Like, he just sculls the whole thing. Daru, cake, and
I've
gulab jamun.
got to try that.
yeah, low key, like, I'm quite interested in how it tastes.
I was,
Gulab jamun.
I was stunned, man. Like, what the fuck just happened, man?
You're like, oh God, खत्म करो ना.
I've seen a few fights, but like not anymore.
More
That's
civilized.
interesting,
No. I don't do that. All those.
How have you?
I don't know, bro. I've seen some
I
fights
stay away
happen.
I stay away from those gigs.
I've seen some fights happen. Just
So,
get out.
Karan, I reckon the last thing I think we will be talking about is the evolution in Australia. All right, we'll talk about Australia, and then we'll move on to another topic which we're all quite eager to get into.
ਸਾਡਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਹੁਣ ਹੋਰ ਤਰੱਕੀ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ
Right, and this is why, right? Like I would see, I've seen a lot of evolution in people as individuals, as groups, as whatever it is, but especially in Australia, in the last 10 years, DJing has gone from, just your basic stuff to pretty high level now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how we are in comparison to, say, the UK, US, or to Canada, but I would say that, our events are pretty lit.
We're pretty good, man.
Yeah, I think so. Like some of the stuff I've seen on your Facebook or Insta or whatever as well, or ones that I've actually attended and you're there as well, they've gone off, right? So we're getting up there if we're not already there. But where do you see the future of DJing going? And then I think you've decided to take a step towards something else as well. So maybe let us know what brought that on. And is that a part of the evolution of DJ Karan, and is that now something we're going to see a lot more of?
So what was the first question?
First question was
I think
Spoken essay.
I think that was too many questions.
it wasn't it was a basic thing was like,
No, I understand what
where
you're
do
trying
you
to say.
see
I'll just answer
where
in
do you
bits.
see DJing going, like the evolution of DJing? So the last 10 years has gone from
Yes.
X to Y.
Yeah.
Now what is Z in this situation? Like where do you see this moving towards? And then
as that as an industry as a whole, or as just yourself?
let's just talk about him, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about Karan, so let's just talk about Karan. I mean, forget the industry as a whole. Everyone's going to have a different concept, right? We're sitting here, we're talking about Karan. So
Yeah.
Look, in the last 10 years, it has changed a lot, man. Like, massive difference. Well, what we're doing now is, I think, I wouldn't have thought I'd be doing this 10 years ago. So now, because I keep innovating, I love this, I love doing this, I keep adding stuff to it, I keep upgrading stuff. So now, as we talked about, we've got the LED walls now. We have the CO2 guns. We have everything, pretty much everything. What the UK or Canada. Obviously, they do at a massively bigger level.
Yeah.
In UK, but I think I've seen a lot of Canadian weddings they're pretty kind of similar now. We're getting there.
We've caught on.
Yeah. So we're getting there.
copycat.
I think we're doing pretty good.
So what I was getting at basically was that you've now moved into producing as well.
Yep.
Right? Is that the natural progression after you've done X amount of gigs, or like you doing 5 gigs a week practically, if not 7? So is that like the natural progression? Like, does every DJ become a producer? Do you need to kind of have something else to be able to do something like that? Because there's a whole chunk of producers in our community now as well, I would say. Not here in Australia, but to mention one, Mofalactic, for instance, right?
Local,
Yeah.
right? Gun, I remember back in the days, but he's one guy, but we don't have too many. What's his face from Sydney?
Pav.
Yeah, Pav. Jeez, I forgot his name. But yeah, look, those
Love
guys.
to see those guys on our show.
Those guys have changed the scene here as well. Telefon बंद होना चाहिए.
रोटी नहीं खानी.
So is that like Pascal? Is that like the next step into producing and whatnot? Like, is that for everyone? Do you think?
No, not really. I don't think it's like a progression kind of thing, but it's just something completely different from DJing. I think in the UK, a lot of DJs, they become producer because they produce that kind of tracks, like Bangla tracks only. So once their track get hit, get some traction, and people start booking them. So what I'm doing is completely different. So it has got nothing to do with my DJing thing. So the type of music I'm producing or I actually enjoy is quite a bit different from what I'm producing.
So, give us a breakdown of your production company, the name, what song have you released just recently? I think we saw, how many weeks has it been? A couple of weeks already?
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
It's been a couple of weeks, yeah. And we've got 153,000
views, bro.
That's
congratulations, man. That's a fucking lot.
I don't think they're doctored views.
No,
so,
how many you bought?
No, I didn't buy any views.
Yeah.
I did do some promotion, which probably had some of the views in them, but I had a lot of comments on the videos, and luckily I haven't seen any negative comment on the video.
For a first song, what you released, it's really good.
Yeah, I think who's it with? Puppy Gill. It's I think it's an old school song, but released with and you worked with what's his face on this one?
Jay Static.
Yeah, the track got mastered from Jay Static.
How'd that come about?
So I sent the song before the release to Pavtaria, and then he reckoned. So he said it was a pretty good song. The first song, the production was pretty good, and so when he heard the song in the car, he found some faults in the mastering. So he advised me to get it remastered and mixed from Jay Static. So the day I was about to release it, I stopped it. I didn't release it, and so I sent it to Jay Static to get it mastered. Obviously, I know KSR, DJ KSR. That is, they work together. But Pav messaged him as well, Jay Static. So yeah, I got in touch with him through Pav and KSR, and I got the song mastered, and I think he changed it pretty. The song, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It sounds pretty good now.
So how did that song come about? How did that come about? How did you release the song with Puppy Gill? What was the starting?
I bought the vocals few years back, man. I think Puppy Gill messaged me on Facebook.
Okay.
That's what he does. He just found different producers and he tried to sell them his vocals.
Yeah.
So he was on my Facebook. I didn't even know he was on my Facebook, and so he sent me a message. Are you a producer? I'm like, yeah, kind of. So he sent me a couple of his vocals, and I really like this song. So I bought these vocals from him, and I've been trying to produce it for a while now. And because I had a lot of commitments with the job, and DJing was pretty busy. He's pretty busy, so you hardly get any time to produce. I think when the COVID happens, I took some time out. I dedicated some time to producing, and so I finally finished the song and found the video, did the video as well, and then finally released it, which is makes me really happy.
Yeah. So what's your creative process like? You had the vocals, and so how did you go about creating the beat for the vocals?
It's just instinctive, man.
Instinctive?
Yeah, you don't think about all that stuff. It's like DJing. I don't think about what song I'm gonna put next. So I'll tell you about DJing. So when I see the crowd filled up with people, right, and then reacting, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll take you from there. So
yeah.
If I see 10 people I really struggle to play. Once I see a lit crowd, it just
flows.
It's just automatic. I don't have to think twice. But if 10 people are dancing, and I really have to think really hard, what should I put next? This and that. So, and same with the music, man. It's just a state. So once you're in that state, and it's just instinctive, man.
Yeah,
you'll hear a vocal, or you just instinctively, put a beat on it, or
I think it's most creative things. It's just intuition,
It's just intuition.
Just intuition.
There's no thinking behind it.
Okay, so Karan, what do we have to look forward to after this? Are we expecting more songs to come out? What is the vibe?
Yeah, hopefully, man. Like, I'm really hoping to release maybe at least 3 or 4 songs this year.
Yeah.
And we've got the new channel, which is under Karna, Karna. So yeah, all the production will be done under Karna Rekords. Just a baby now, so we'll see how far it goes.
Are there any artists that you want to work with?
Oh yeah, man.
Anyone out there that you really want to collaborate with?
Apart from Pav.
Obviously, yeah, Pav. Both like together.
Pav,
I would love to see more locals.
Yeah, I would love to see a local collab, bro. Like,
Thing is, there's a lot of talent here, bro.
there's too much talent here. Like, I think we got so much talent here.
A lot.
it's not about the talent, man. Like, it's just about if you vibe with someone, you know? Like, it's just that. Because there could be 2 really good artists, but if they don't vibe together,
you can't force it.
You can't. It's just about, if someone likes my music or if I like someone's vocals or I don't have any specific persons.
I think it's a good answer.
We're
Very
Limit
neutral.
yourself.
Yeah, I'm not. We'll see if I get to work with someone, or not.
So have you actually reached out to anyone or no, not as yet?
It's pointless.
But
is
we're expecting 3 songs this year.
Yeah, so is this more so one of those things where you just go out and buy tracks off people and say, I'm going to put something together, or do you wait for them to contact you?
I don't go out and buy it, but it's just I know a couple of guys who wants to get their music done, so I might do the music for them.
Locals?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Anyone we would know?
No, you don't know.
Doesn't have any?
Doesn't have any.
I don't know, man, how it's gonna play out, but we'll see. I'm just gonna do my shit and then release it, and then people like it, or if someone wants to work with you. I can't force people to work. I don't expect people to work.
So I'd say,
It's a process.
it's a pro. I get, but what advice would you give to anyone that's like wanting to follow in your footsteps? Like to the person out there who's a young kid who's wanting to get into DJing, or even wanting to get into production. Like, what advice would you give to them?
Just start, man. That's the most important advice. Just start without thinking. I think that's half the work done right there. So if you want to do something, just start. I think we waste a lot of time, which I did as well, like thinking about it, how it's going to play out and what's going to happen. Just a stupid thing to do. So if you want to do something, just start doing it. If you want to be a producer, and it's very easy now to do anything. Like if you want to be a DJ, you can buy DJing gear and then start practicing at home. It's not expensive. There's heaps of tutorials on YouTube. Same with the production. There's heaps of tutorials. And then stuff isn't expensive now, man. It's not expensive. So if you're smart, you'll get it.
Yeah, smart, and if you're eager to pursue, you're passionate.
That's what I was going to say. I think that can be applied to anything now.
Anything.
Anything, whether it's a profession, whether it's a business, whether it's DJing, photography, videography, mate. If you've got the passion, basically the message is pursue your dreams, because you're gonna love what you do. And that saying stands, man. If you never want to work a day in your life, love what you do. I think that's pretty good. Like, sums it up very well.
Yeah, no, it's very rewarding, man, when you are actually doing what you wanted to do and getting paid. It's just the best thing. So,
Any final words, lads, before we wrap this one up?
Subscribe, bro.
Obviously, everyone, like, subscribe, hit the bell, share it on Facebook, on Instagram, WhatsApp.
Looking at doing the next gig, hit up DJ Karan.
And show him some love, subscribe to
do.
his production channel on YouTube as well.
The links will be below.
Yeah.
Please
We'll
do
post
check
all the
out.
links below.
Please do check out the new song. It's fucking amazing, if I do say so myself. It's been on repeat for me. But yeah, I think for us, that's everything.
Yeah.
Alright, guys. So we'll see you guys. Hopefully sooner than we saw you this time.
No lockdown. We'll get
They promised to get our act together.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Alright, thanks, guys. We'll see you guys next time.
Cheers, boys.
Bye.
Ciao.